Hey, good morning. It's Kathy, and I am finally back to try to make a video. Yeah, I hope everybody's doing really good and had a good week last week. Mine was, it was good. I'm gonna say it was good. Still here. Yeah. So, I am going to continue on with Dee Dee's 3 and 15 Don't Freak Out Before Christmas. And I am going to put my signatures together. What I have here is one of my pretty little covers. And this is the one that I just polyurethaned. I did not Mod Podge this one before I polyurethaned it. And these other two covers, I did Mod Podge before I polyurethaned. Well, let me say I Mod Podged the outside before I polyurethaned the whole thing. And they all look good. They all feel good. The Mod Podge ones are just a little bit heavier and a little bit shinier. I'm sure you can see that on the outside. And here's this one. And I put the little butterflies on them. This one got Mod Podged on the inside and the outside. This is the one I went rogue on. When Dee Dee, she was not Mod Podging the insides, and I went ahead and started. So, yeah. But I think it looks good. Anyway. So now what I have, and I have already printed and separated 3 sets of papers, and you'll see them as we go along. And these are my decorative papers, and they are printed on the front and the back. And I printed them to kind of go along with some of these papers that I'm going to use also. So they kind of just go along with them. And what these are scrapbook papers. They're from that same Theodosia Square pad that I've been using. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these in the signature. What I did was I cut the width to 11 inches. And then I folded up the bottom so that it will act like a pocket. And I folded it up so that the height is 8.5 inches because that's the regular height of our papers. So what I need to do is just choose a few. Let's see how many I have. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16. I have 16, and I've got 3 books, so I'm just going to pull one out, and I'm just going to kind of flip through here and see which one looks like it might be too directional. That one's got a pretty bird sitting right there, and it's got one here, so I think we're okay with that one. I thought that turned out pretty, how the flowers folded up even look, they don't look upside down. That one's not bad. This is just a pretty paper, and it's kind of, that one's kind of a little more directional. That one's pretty, it's okay. That's going to be okay. That's going to be okay. Yeah, I think this one is going to be our most directional, so I'm going to put it aside over here and we'll use it for something else. So, now we're going to have 5 of these for each journal. And I want to kind of mix up the colors. Let's go with the red, pink red. Okay, so now I've got 5 scrapbook papers. I've got, on this one, I think I only have three of my papers that I made, and these are papers that I put together, and I do not have them listed on my Etsy. I have not figured all that out, so yeah, sorry. And then these are advertisements and that type of, there's some dictionary page, there's a couple of receipts and things like that in there, and these are music paper. So I think I'm gonna decide which one I want to choose for my I like that one. That one's gonna be the front. And I like the direction of these. Those turned that way just looked upside down to me, so we're gonna go with it in this direction. And then we've got that one. Okay, so let's just start putting papers together. Let's get a pocket page in there, and I'll decorate the white parts of the scrapbook paper also. I'll decorate it before we get done. Thank y'all for hanging with me. If you've hung with me this far, I really, really appreciate you more than you possibly could know. Yep. I do have 2 brothers, and I know that I could talk to them, but they're, you know, they're struggling with their own things, and they've got their families, and I know that they both love my mom and me and my dad, bless his heart, he tries to help as much as he possibly can, and he is wonderful. But sometimes there's just nothing that he can do either. I mean, it's just, it is what it is, and it's gonna be that. As much as we don't want it to, it's gonna be that. So the best thing I know to do is pray. So, and I know that if I got y'all out there praying with me, I've got it going on. It's the best thing we can do for each other. I think I want this here so that it picks up that blue. Just about did that wrong. Y'all were yelling at me, weren't you? Oh, goodness. Goodness, goodness. Let's see how we're doing here. I have pulled out some other papers also that I want to go in here for texture. I tend to load my journals up. I like to have a lot of space to write and to decorate, so I assume everybody else does too. See, that's just going to be pretty sitting right inside there. And I did reinforce, I'm going to do it to these other 2 here in a minute, so I'll show you at least one, but I did go ahead and reinforce this journal cover with some ticking, and it's just fabric, and I think they call it mattress ticking or something like that. Anyway, I just did that to give it a little extra strength and to give it a little something something on the inside there. And I wanted my pretty seams to show, my sewing that I did around, because y'all know that was a day. But so I made sure that my ticking was long enough to where it's going to catch my sewing, where I'm going to sew my signature in. I just made sure my ticking was long enough to catch all of those holes, and that'll just give it enough stability so that the spine won't tear with the thread. And then after I sew, I might put a little lace after I sew in my signature. I might put a little lace over the seams on the outside, or I may just leave it. We'll just have to see. So after I got off on that tangent, let's see how many pages we have. 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So we've got 18 pages already. I like to put at least 20 pages in mine. So we'll pull out, that's a good texture, crinkly page. I like that. And there's just a different texture. And this is a piece of, I called it kindergarten writing paper. And this is a paper that I get off of, it's a newsprint style paper that I get from Amazon, and it comes 9 by 12, I think. So I have to cut it down to 8.5 by 11, and I have already done that. Okay, so let's just choose where we want to slide these in. And I think what I'm doing is I'm checking, this is my 8.5 line, so I'm putting the edge on 8.5. And I know that I have some more. No, that's not what I'm doing. I'm putting the edge on 11, and I'm making sure that it's not too wide. And I think we're going to be okay with all these papers. I have some of this paper that I do have to fold down. And then this is 8 inches. So yeah, we're fine with these. And I know that these are all going to be fine. But some of the papers I have like this, some of them I have to fold over one edge because they're too wide. If y'all hear any strange noises going on, my dog is back here. She's with me this morning. We have a normal morning routine where she goes in and wakes her Grammy up, and then her Grammy feeds her breakfast, and that did not happen this morning, so she's in here with me. But that's okay, she seems to like being in here with me too, as long as her daddy's not home. Now if her daddy was home, she would be with him wherever he is. He is gone off to work today. Let's see. I think I want to go here with this one. This one. There we go. Now I think we have like 22 pages in there or so. At least 20, which is what I go for. Okay, so those are going to get sewn into that one. And now These are the pages that I had initially pulled out for these other two covers, and they're much the same, so we'll end up doing the same thing with those. But I wanted to show you what I did with the cover, and then I'll end this video. Oh, and I want to tell you too, if y'all ever are watching my video and you all of a sudden start hearing a doorbell going off and I tell you bye real quick, that's we've got an internal doorbell system, and they have buttons all around the house that if they need me, they push the button and I go running, because they usually try not to push the button unless they have to. Okay, and this one is not exactly straight up and down. I think I'll go ahead and fix it. And I've got my glue, since I'm using it today, I've got my glue stored upside down in my prescription bottle, and that keeps it up at the top. And I do put one of those knitting needle caps over it, but that keeps my glue ready to use. And I really like having it ready to use. I am not a patient person. I'm sure y'all have already surmised. Oh, and I also have a woodpecker pecking on the side of the house. So if y'all can hear that, I am sorry. My little friend. Yeah. The wonderfulness of a log house. But that's okay. I usually shoo them off, but y'all don't want to hear me banging on the side of the house, I'm sure. I'm just going to go ahead and get this video finished. Now, one thing I don't know, and I'll have to report back to you on. I don't know how well this fabric with the Fabri-Tac is going to stick to the Mod Podge surface. So we will find out. Of course, it's Mod Podged and then it's polyurethane over it. I put spray polyurethane on. So I'm thinking that it might just be okay, because it did stick really well to that spray polyurethane on the first one I did. Now, the best thing to do is to let this dry before you, let that glue dry before you bend that spine back up. You know, I am just not that patient though, and this is exactly why I say to do that, because it will buckle. And so I am going to let that glue, and I'm going to try to make sure it's good right in there, and I'm going to just let that glue dry while I do the next one. And this one does not have Mod Podge on it. Hey, look, it goes like that. I'm just going to leave it. It's a junk journal. It is going to be okay. And I'm getting right around that fold. I'm just going down far enough with my glue to catch the fabric. Okay, let's see how we did. I got a little excess glue, but it'll be all right. It will. I'm just really smushing that glue down in there. And I do know that I didn't get it quite wide enough, so I'll go back and put a little more. It'll just make our whatever. I usually try to do a really big pocket on the inside covers, so it'll help make that pocket stick down better also. Okay, we got that one pretty good, and I do want to make sure that I get that on that seam. Get it pushed in and squeezed out. Okay. And like I said, after I sew my signatures in, I might come back and put a little bit of lace on there, or I might not. Just all depends on how it's going, how it looks. Oh, I like it. And we know I like lace, lots of lace. Okay, so I'm going to let those two dry. I am going to work on these other two signatures. I'm going to do them just like I did this one. And I will be back to continue from there. Thanks for watching, y'all, and thank you for your prayers. I hope everybody's happy and safe and finds a little time to craft today.